Okay, hey guys. So this is my tutorial on the Endgrade Powergrade. This is my one-stop Powergrade for easy cinematic Powergrade that I've been tinkering with for the last couple of weeks. I've been wanting to make one for a while, so I did. And it's just a lot of accumulations of things I know how to make and learned through buying other people's Powergrades. So this is my Powergrade. It's called the Endgrade, and I will be showing you my footage here in this timeline. So I'm just gonna get started here and show you how to use it. And I have a bunch of different clips. Most of them are from my Sony A7 IV, and then one is my DJI also Pocket 3. So just to show you how to color grade both. I think most people I thought would have a Sony digital, any normal mirrorless camera, so that you should be able to find your color space on DaVinci, and just to show the different applications. So let's go over to the first clip. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to get two power grades, which is this Endgrade and Endgrade Studio. For me, I have DaVinci Resolve Studio, so I would use the Studio version because that's what it looks like when you put the Studio version on. I think it looks really cool out of the box. For some reason, this looks really cool. But if you don't have Studio, that means you won't have this specific enabled node. There's the compound node, all my film effects here, and I'm pretty sure all of them, that's why I put Studio on it. I'm pretty sure you can only have this when you have DaVinci Resolve Studio. If you don't have DaVinci Resolve Studio, it's just going to come up with this overlay saying you can't use it. So that's what the normal one is for, and this is the normal one. Looks good, not as cool in my opinion as this, because you lose the vignetting, you lose the like the little halation, you lose grain, and I think this looks way more cinematic, but this one I think still looks pretty good. So it's just so I can appeal to both people who have the studio and who don't have studio. This is my ideal version, obviously the studio version, but today we're going to be working with the normal version because I don't think studio is that important. And so let's talk about the main version and how we're actually going to color grade this. So for lucky for us, most of this specific clip looks really good out of the box. And sometimes you get lucky like that. Sometimes you're like, oh, I actually don't really have to adjust it that much because I don't actually have to. But I will go through the steps of how to adjust the clip based on what you should do if it doesn't look good. So really good out of the box. So let's use this. Maybe this one looks a little bit worse. Yeah, this definitely looks worse. Okay, looks horrible actually. And you're like, oh wow, what? But this one, like, it's the exact same grade I used here, right? Look, it's the exact same grade. Boom, I dragged it here. Oh, it looks perfect here. Looks absolutely horrible, and that's okay. That's what happens sometimes. And I thought at first when I first started using grades, I'm like, wow, this looks like shit. It's not because it looks like shit. It's because it's just not tweaked. And this is how we're going to fix it. So we're going to start the whole process of this clip from the beginning. So first off, in CST, color space transform, we're going to make sure we're in the same input color space. So whatever you shot it in log, you shot it in DaVinci log, DJI log, you shot it in S log, C log, F log even. You should be able to find it in DaVinci. DaVinci should have it. There's no way DaVinci doesn't have it. If it doesn't, you must be using a brand new camera that no one has ever heard of. So unfortunate for you. But for example, this is shot in S log, so I'm going to keep on S log even though it looks like this. So next thing the next node here is noise reduction. This is another studio feature. So this is for noise, and if you have like a bunch of noise, I left it there for you to touch. If you just turn it on and off, that's it. Nothing else to it. Was it exposure? And this one's pretty important. I would say you want to touch the exposure a lot because this is the one that probably is the one you have to fix the most often. Okay, color wheels. So we're going to touch the color wheels, and we're going to drag these three down mainly. You can touch this as well if you want, but I never really touched these. These are the ones that are more accurate. So this is probably, from what I know, this is the midtones, this is the shadows, and this is the gain. So we're going to turn down the overall shadows here and bring them back. And look, our image already looks a lot better. Then I'm going to turn, you can see the highlights are like the really bright areas. I'm going to turn that down. That looks significantly better, and I'll probably turn out the midtones to brighten up the whole image a little bit. And I think, yeah, I think this already looks a lot better. In fact, maybe I want to brighten up a little bit more, just because I like a little bit brightness. And then okay, let's just say, for example, this looks a little bit cold. Maybe I want a more warm image. This is where you adjust the white balance basically, and this has worked for me mostly fine. You just adjust your temperature. The warmer is to the right, the less warm is to the left. I'm gonna go for a warmer image-ish. I'm gonna use this woman's shirt as a reference. Yeah, so you can also use this as a way to reference what's white, and then the whole image is basically, this is auto white balance basically. Well, you're making white balance, but this is how auto does it for you. So you just choose what's white, and this will just give you a good way to figure out what's white balance, and then you can adjust whether you want it warmer or you want it colder. I like to go for a slightly warm image, but there's also a LUT that I have for you to do that, so we can do that later. Let's move on to saturation. Saturation, let's say I want the reds and like the very saturated parts of my image a little bit washed out. Maybe I want to make it a little more saturated. So in the saturation node, we're just going to adjust the green layer on gain, and that's it. And like, look at how red that became now. Went from like super bland to like super red. Um, it can look really, really bad if you decide not to tweak it well. Saturated parts is just going to be more saturated. I'd say keep it anywhere from 1 to 1.4 max. Anything more than that, I feel like it's a little bit not realistic, but that's fine. If you want to go artistically, just go what you want to do. Next one is skin tone. So let's just say my friend here, let's say you want to adjust the skin tone. This is what you do here in the color splice tool. So you can adjust his skin tone to be like more saturated or less saturated. It grabs this, obviously the skin tone color. You can also make it more dense or less dense here. And you can see that how that affects the image. And you kind of play around here to see what you like. I'm gonna go for a slightly more saturated tone because I just like the way it pops, and you can see how that affects everywhere else as well in the image. So be careful of that. You can, and this is the thing in the skin. Although it says skin, it's actually more of like a color splice tool in general. So you're gonna affect absolutely everything here. So you can like red. Maybe I want more like more dense red there. I want a more saturated red there. Like you can adjust all of that here. These two are optional as well. I would say these don't affect your image depending on what you want. So like let's say I turn off the glow, you can see the image has a less of a shine to it, and then there's sharpness, digital sharpness, up to you. I like a little bit of sharpness sometimes, so I add it. It's really a preference thing. I like it, so I kept it there, but you can turn it on and off. This is again my vision, so if you don't like it, turn it off. That's fine. Okay, here we go is another thing with it. This is curves, and curves is where you adjust this. And I gave it a basic, very small curve right now, but this is basically where you don't use the contrast the slider here at all. I don't use the contrast slider at all because it's not good. It's just a flat, it's super flat. It just adjusts everything on one slider. So what you do with the contrast curve here is that you can actually adjust what you want to give more contrasty. So I want the shadows maybe to be more contrasty, but I can bring the rest of the image up like as such. So I'm going to bring up the rest of the image and from here, but I'm going to bring down the shadows just a little bit. And then that's my contrast. You can still see there's like a bunch of contrast. It's just like, it's just not the whole image. It's like specific parts of the image. And that's what I like about it. The contrast curves allows me to like, okay, I want to make more contrast here. Boom, I can do that specifically and adjust one type of like level compared to like adjusting the whole thing as one. Let's go on to here. It's me and my friends. We were at a park in Tokyo, and I dragged this. All right, instantly like a lot of color. I think this is a question of what you want to do. So we now, let's just say, I don't like the way the background is. I think I'm way too bright. This is where these layers come in, and I'm going to be using studio features here to use it as an example, but you don't have to. Basically, this is a layer node here. So this allows you to choose whether or not you want specific things in color or not, or more exposure or not. So like, let's say for here, for example, I'll just mask me, I guess, for the sake of timing. So I'm going to mask myself in the background. I want everything but me to not be in color. And this is what this layer mask does. So it's going to track me. Yeah. So that's how it captures me throughout the whole timeline. Okay. Let's say I want everything else but not be in color. I had this mask. This is where the foreground is, and this is the background. And now that I have the mask selected, so this is my mask, as you can see, it has me selected. This one, I'm going to adjust and turn, like, just turn off all the colors in it. So I'm just going to get rid of all the color here. So let's go to saturation. I'm the only thing in color. So like that's how you would use the mask. If you want to mask out specific things, or the opposite, let's just say I'm way too bright and I mask myself out. I want to be, oh, dude, I'm way too bright. Just turn down the exposure of myself on this mask. It looks like, it definitely looks a little bit off. Don't get me wrong, but
It's like
that's
this,
masking.
this,
Like,
this
so,
is like a
this is an artistic choice. Like right
freeze
now,
it
I'm way too dark, but like,
That's gone. Like you can still kind of see a little bit.
yeah, that's the whole point. You get the choice to artistically do these choices, and I'm giving you that framework, like just how you can use it for yourself. Because I know some people like to mask a lot, and I did for some parts of my film that I made recently. So that's why I left that there, because I didn't know how to do it, and I was like, oh, how do you do that? And I figured it out. So I was like, here you go. And then here's my two other LUTs. This is probably the last thing I have to really talk about. But let's just do another color space transform here, just because this looks really weird. For DJI specifically, DJI D-Log M, I do DJI. I don't know if this is correct, but this is what I do. So I do the input color space is DJI D Gamut, but the input gamma is Rec 709 for specifically D-Log M. I'm not sure about normal D-Log, but for D-Log M, this works a lot better for me. Okay, so for example, right now I'm noticing, okay, the glow way too strong. I'm just gonna turn this off. This doesn't look good for this glow. I don't want the glow here. Okay, let's move on to this. I think overall, it's properly exposed right now. And then let's just say, oh, I kind of want it to be warmer or cooler. And I have two LUTs. Well, not LUTs, but more or less like color temperatures I've changed and like some curves I've edited so you can get like a specific look. And I left this as like a personal thing. So warmness, like I have a warm LUT-ish. I turn this on and then boom, like it's a way warmer image. It's kind of vintage warm, and I kind of like that a lot. So I kind of use this one a lot. But if I don't like that, let's just say I want a more cooler image. I have this, and this makes it kind of look like The Boys. And that was my thought process of this. This kind of looks like The Boys. This kind of looks like a vintage warm, and those are my two LUTs I made. And I think it's a very, again, artistic choice. Whether you like this, I think this definitely looks really cool. Like this definitely reminds me of like season 1 of The Boys. And then this one is just like, oh, I want like a flashback in time type of moment. This looks pretty cool. So there you have it. That is my color grade. That is my Endgrade power grade, and I hope you guys enjoy this power grade. I put a lot of time into it, tinkering around and making sure that off the rip you could basically use it really easily. Like I think it's super easy to use compared to like other power grades that I've tried. It's just kind of dumb simple. You just adjust exposure half the time and it works really well. Maybe adjust saturation, up to you. And I have two cool LUTs. I like to say that I think these are really useful LUTs. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the grade. I mean, I look at that. That was like really quick. A little bit dark. Just adjust it a little bit. Boom, boom. Looked really. Nah, I actually like I already like the way it looks. I think it looks cool. So yeah, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I don't know if you haven't got the power grade. I think the only way you can get the power grade is because I gotta subscribe on YouTube because I'm not charging any money for this, so that's my only, I guess, payment. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.